Hi, welcome. I'm Lorelei of Namasturm Yoga. Today's at-home yoga practice is going to be a short, yin-style deep stretching practice. So we'll start in a simple seated position. You can bring your hands to your knees, maybe take a moment to close your eyes, tune into your breath. Shift your focus from whatever you've been doing all day to now, here. Try to be present with yourself sitting on the mat. Yin yoga is a very mindful practice. We'll do some deep stretching, breathing, and just slowing down and trying to let go. If you have a block, you're certainly welcome to use one. If you don't, I will provide instruction for everything without a block. But if you've got one and that's helpful to you, you can have that handy. We're just sitting here to start. Maybe for the last few breaths, give yourself a moment to just fold down over your legs, letting your head hang, forearms, maybe hands come to the floor. Breathe. And then use your hands to walk you back in carefully, and we're going to come to child's pose. So uncross the legs, turn one direction on your mat, take your knees to the floor a little wider than the hips. If you can, bring your toes to touch, sink your hips back on your heels, and then lengthen your spine out. Allow the forehead to come to the floor, and the arms just rest. If you like to practice this pose with a block, some people will take it and maybe set the block on your calves or between your legs so that you can rest your hips even if they can't come fully to your heels. If you don't need the block, I would just say let your hips come to your heels and breathe. Walk your hands in to come up. We're going to move to saddle pose, which is a deep stretch for inside the hips. It can also be a little bit of a back bend, depending on how you practice. Bring your knees together. Take your feet wide. See if you can get your hips to sit down between the feet, but if not, take your block and sit that between your feet so that you can rest your hips down on the block. Knees are forward, feet are tucked by the sides of the body. If you're sitting on your block, maybe start to walk the hands back. Maybe the hands prop you up. Some of you might find your way to your forearms, and you could even let the head fall back. Breathe here. If you're not on the block, the same things apply. You're sitting between your feet, really letting the sit bones root down. You could move to your hands. You could move to your forearms and let the head fall back. Or you might be able to lower all the way to the ground. Letting yourself go. Release, relax. Our yin practice is about doing less. So just giving the weight of the body up to gravity. We're not activating any muscles here. We're really just trying to let go. Tune into your breath. Help that carry you through your practice. If you like to work with an Ujjayi breathing practice, I recommend it. But if you prefer to stick with just your natural breath, that's okay. If you find yourself holding your breath, you may have gone a little too deep, too far, too fast, so find a way to ease up. If this pose becomes too intense, the only effort that we want to exert would be effort to resist going too deep. So maybe bring your hands back under you, come up a little higher, something sustainable. We're going to be here for a few more breaths, so make sure you're okay, but then just try to let go. Walk your hands in to bring you up. Let's keep the right knee forward. We're going to move the left leg back, and we're going to come to a swan pose. So make sure your right foot is over to the left and that you can come to your back thigh. If you find you rock to your right hip, then grab your block and you could prop yourself up on that block. If that's not an issue for you, then don't worry about the block. Just let yourself start to fold into sleeping swan. If you want to deepen this stretch in your hip, you could briefly roll to your right hip, move that right shin further forward so that it's more parallel with the front edge of your mat, then come up off that hip and fold down straight over your shin. If the heel needs to move back closer to you, it's okay. Don't hurt your knee, but see if you can find a way to give up the weight of your upper body here and let go. Keep breathing. If you find you're able to go deeper, continue to walk the hands away. Maybe let the head come down. Give in, but bring more weight to your hands, arms if you find you need to, if it becomes too intense. Walk the hands in, come up carefully. We're going to next go to shoelace pose. So tuck your left heel or right heel in a little bit in case you had extended it out. Keep your right knee forward. Rock to your right hip and swing the left leg around. Take your left foot over and try to stack your left knee above your right. We want to have the knees right in front of you and the feet tucked by the sides of the body. And then from here, we just fold, sinking down and letting go. So you may feel as though we haven't really warmed up the body and already we're doing deep stretching. And that actually is the way we work in yin. We're working with the body cold. Instead of trying to stretch the muscles, which become warm and more flexible when we move, we're trying to stretch more of the deeper tissue, ligaments, tendons, even joints. And those are just much more stable. And so we work with them before the muscles have become really pliable to hopefully get into some of those deeper, more stable areas. That's the theory in any case. See how it feels. Just keep breathing here and try to let go. Walk the hands in and come up. We're going to try to keep the left knee forward. So move it off of that right leg and then move your right leg now behind you. And we're going to take the swan pose on the other side. If you've rocked to your left hip, maybe move the shin a little further forward, but then bring yourself up off the back hip so that you're on the top of the right thigh. Right toes extend behind you. And you can prop yourself up as high as you need to, but when you're ready to lower down, maybe come to the forearms, forehead. Again, if you need to use the block under your left hip to keep from rolling left, then if that's available for you, please feel free to add that support. Letting go. Yin tends to be a pretty quiet practice. It's slow and still. Allow yourself to listen to your breath. Tune in to every sensation in the body. If it's too intense, ease up. But if you're able to manage it, even if it feels challenging, just breathe. There may also be the emotions that come up during this practice because we hold tension in the body, and that can sometimes be associated with emotions. Trying to release that tension may release the emotion as well. So just let yourself breathe through it. Stay, hold, let go. the upper body. We'll take shoelace on the other side, so keep your left knee forward and maybe, adjust yourself so you're even with the front of the mat. Rock to your left hip. Swing the right leg over and around, and then move the feet near the sides of the body. Make any little adjustments you need to settle in. Try to have the knees stacking one over the other. And then when you're ready to move deeper, start to fold. You could also put a block on the floor in front of you under your forehead so that as you start to fold down, if you can't get your head to the floor but you'd like to relax your neck, you could rest your head on the block and then slowly turn it down a notch as you slowly go deeper. So don't force it, but if it's available, just get out, let the block move out of the way at the depth of the pose. Although the pose may continue to deepen while we hold, try not to do a lot of fidgeting or adjusting. Come up a little bit if you need to, if it gets too intense. Maybe move your arms carefully out of the way if you can go deeper. But try to otherwise remain relatively still here. And come on up. We're going to unwind the legs and we're going to finally straighten them out. So let's come to a straddle position. So sit where the direction that's most comfortable for you and then take the legs out nice and wide. Relax the feet. So don't flex them. Don't try to tone the legs up. If the knees are a little bent, it's okay. Angle your body toward the right leg and start to lean in the direction of that leg. Relax both legs. Relax the upper body. Almost like slow motion falling. You're letting yourself drop towards your extended leg. Breathing and giving in moment by moment. And then we're just gonna go to the other leg. So take your time transitioning, walk your hands in, come on up carefully, and then angle your torso toward the left leg and start to fold down. So there really are only, a dozen, maybe up to 20 yin poses. So in a shorter practice, we still want to hold for longer periods of time because that really is how the practice works. We'll just do fewer total poses. So we're trying to find, a balance of different types of poses, but we'll spend a significant amount of time in each one. Breathe, give up the weight of the body, letting go. And coming up, we're going to fold straight down the center. You may want to use your block here as well. So this would just be, again, for your head. So as you start to walk down, if you're pretty far away from the floor, that's fine. Your legs are relaxed and you're just letting the weight of your body go. But maybe as you spend time here, you start to get closer to the floor. Your head maybe won't make it to the floor, but it might make it to a block. So you could put your forearms on the floor and then put the block here to rest your head and relax your neck. And then again, maybe turning it down moment by moment as it becomes possible. Maybe eventually the head will get to the floor, but it might not. And if it does, you can remove the block, but it's there as an option. Make sure the legs are remaining relaxed and that you're not trying to push or pull yourself deeper into the pose. You're really just trying to do as little as you can and allow the pose to happen. Use your hands to bring you back up. And we're gonna move to the floor. We're gonna do a twist on either side. So letting the spine get a little stretch. Once you come to the ground, bring the knees and tuck them up. And then take the arms out, either like cactus arms, or you can take them into a T shape. And let the knees drop all the way to the right. And then turn your head and look back to the left. Relaxing both the legs on the right and the shoulder on the left so that you're trying to give in on both ends of this twist. another breath on this side. And then take your time bringing the knees back through center. Keep them tucked up and then allow them to fall over to the left. Turn your head back to the right, relaxing down both your right shoulder and the legs on the left. Breathe. If you feel like closing your eyes during your poses in the practice, feel free to do that, moving your focus inward. You can concentrate on your breath. Notice what's happening in your body moment by moment. Bringing your knees back up. And the last pose we're going to do is a supine or reclining butterfly pose. So keep the feet together, but let the knees go wide. Let the edges of the feet drop to the floor. You can tuck your shoulders under your upper back and let the arms open out away from the sides. Again, maybe close the eyes. As you let the knees drop passively to the floor, you should feel this stretch in the inner thighs and the hip flexor area. Relax and let go. If it becomes too intense, you could actually put something under your knees to support them so that gravity isn't taking all of the weight of your legs. But if you can stay, breathe, and try to find some ease here. And then bring your knees together. Use your hands to help you if you need to. Find your way gently up to sitting. Cross the legs. If you want to take another minute or so for Shavasana, please feel free to do that. I encourage it. But for now, let's bring palms together in front of the heart. Close the eyes. Tune into the breath. And we'll close this simple practice today with just a bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me today from home and sharing your practice. Namaste. Thanks again. Please feel free to share. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Yay.